Alexei Petrov ran his fingers over the ancient script, feeling a chill crawl up his spine. This wasn't just another dusty manuscript from the Byzantine era. No, this was something more. A hidden thread in the fabric of history. Could it be true? Did the East truly triumph over the West in the years gone by? But what if the fall of Constantinople had been different? What if the year was 1453 and an advanced Greek-Russian coalition fleet arrived just in time to save the city, turning back the Ottoman invaders? With the threat of the Ottomans pushed back, the Renaissance would unfold not under the banner of Western Catholic dominance, but under the shared canopy of Eastern Orthodox and Islamic influences. And so our tale begins with the miracle of Constantinople. The year is 1453. The Ottoman army is at the gates of Constantinople, and all seems lost for the embattled city. But wait, from the sea comes a massive fleet. Russian and Greek ships, united against the Ottoman threat, storm the Bosphorus, driving the Turks back. The coalition fleet, led by the formidable Grand Prince Vasily II of Moscow and the valiant Greek Emperor Constantine Teutobry-Kran Palaiologos, stands victorious. News of the miracle spreads like wildfire, igniting a new era of cultural exchange between Russia and Greece. Trade flourishes along the Silk Roads as the threat of the West lessens. Knowledge of mathematics, science, and philosophy flows eastward from Greece to Russia, while the vast natural resources of the North find their way to the hands of Greek artisans and scholars. In this world, the fall of Constantinople didn't mark the end of the Eastern Roman Empire, but the start of its second wind. As the years roll by, the walls of Constantinople are rebuilt, and within them, a new era blossoms. It becomes a hub of trade, a melting pot of cultures where Greek, Russian, and Islamic influences intertwine. Meanwhile, the rest of Europe is in turmoil. The Renaissance is underway, but it's Italy that takes the lead. Patronage of arts and sciences remains strong, attracting the brightest minds to its soil. But as the century progresses, two major events will shake the foundations of the Catholic Church. In 1492, Christopher Columbus, seeking financial support for his audacious plan to reach Asia by sailing west, finds himself rejected by the Spanish monarchs. Unable to secure patronage elsewhere in Catholic Europe, he turns his attention eastward towards the thriving markets of Constantinople. The Greek merchants, intrigued by tales of a western sea route, pledge their support, offering him the resources to assemble his fleet. With the backing of the Greek merchants and the strategic guidance of Grand Prince Ivan III of Moscow, Columbus sets sail for the Americas. On October 12, 1492, Columbus reaches land, not the shores of India as he had hoped, but the Bahamas. And so begins the first age of Islamic colonization in the New World. As word of the Americas spreads through the Islamic world, a surge of exploration and colonization ensues. Soon, North Africa, the Middle East, and even Central Asia send their own expeditions to claim and settle portions of the vast continents. Trade routes extend across the Atlantic, connecting the Americas to the markets of the East, bringing immense wealth and exotic goods to both sides of the ocean. And then there's the catalyst for change, the 95 Theses. In 1517, Martin Luther's ideas find fertile ground in the halls of Constantinople. Pope Leo X welcomes the chance for reform and dialogue, seeing it as an opportunity to strengthen ties with the East. He establishes a committee of theologians and scholars from both the Catholic and Orthodox churches to review and discuss Luther's proposals. After intense theological debate and discussion, the Catholic Church accepts most of Luther's 95 Theses, leading to a period of religious reform known as the Catholic Reformation. The Council of Florence reconvenes, aiming for a full reunion between the Catholic and Orthodox churches. Patriarchs and popes work together to address the issues raised by Luther. including the sale of indulgences, the role of good works in salvation, and the authority of the papacy. This cooperation fosters closer ties between the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches, forming a powerful alliance that helps to prevent the Protestant Reformation from taking root in Russia or Greece. The alliance between the Orthodox and Catholic churches has far-reaching consequences. As the 16th century unfolds, the Christian world presents a different face. Russia and Greece, once isolated during the years of Mongol domination, now find themselves at the forefront of a reformed Christendom. Meanwhile, the rest of Europe is grappling with the fragmentation brought about by the Protestant Reformation, leaving them relatively weaker and more divided. This is especially evident during the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire in 1520. In our timeline, the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan falls after a brutal siege. But in this alternate reality, knowledge of European military tactics and gunpowder technology reached the Aztecs through the extensive trade networks established by Islamic merchants along the eastern coast of the Americas. The Aztecs, armed with superior knowledge and utilizing their natural environment, repel the Spanish conquistadors, forcing them to retreat. This victory marks a significant moment, as it's the first time a pre-Columbian Mesoamerican civilization successfully defends itself against European colonizers. As word of the Aztec victory spreads throughout Mesoamerica, other indigenous cultures rally, forming alliances and bolstering their defenses against any potential European incursions. By the end of the 16th century, Mesoamerica remains largely untouched by European colonization, a flourishing cradle of diverse civilizations with the Aztecs at their helm. Across the Atlantic, in 1603, England and Scotland unite under the Union of the Crowns with James VI of Scotland, ascending to the throne of England as James I III. While this merger initially brings stability and prosperity to the British Isles, simmering political tensions eventually boil over. Fearing growing royal absolutism, English and Scottish nobles revolt, establishing a republic in the British Isles with London as its capital. The rest of Europe, caught in the throes of the 30 Years' War, pays little heed to these developments. By the mid-17th century, the Republic becomes a hub of intellectual and commercial activity, its skilled merchants outpacing those of other European nations. Meanwhile, the war-torn continent struggles to recover, allowing Russia and the Eastern Orthodox Church to emerge as major players on the world stage. But as the 18th century dawns, the fragile peace in Europe begins to crumble. By 1775, the American Revolution erupts, drawing in the European powers. However, before they can fully commit their resources, the combined might of the Catholic Orthodox coalition swiftly puts down the rebellion, much to the relief of the Russian czars and Greek emperors. They fear that if the Americans were to succeed, they would become a beacon for Enlightenment ideals, potentially sparking similar movements in their own territories. To prevent such upheaval, the coalition divides North America among themselves, carving out spheres of influence that extend from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This division ensures that no single European power can dominate the continent, keeping it fragmented and less likely to unify against the East. Meanwhile, the French Revolution breaks out in 1789. But unlike our timeline, it doesn't lead to the rise of Napoleon or the Reign of Terror. Instead, the French nobility, alarmed by the events in England, opt for preemptive reform. As news of the English Republic reaches the court of Louis XVI, Queen Marie Antoinette and the influential Queen Mother, Marie-Thérèse Charlotte, convince the king to enact progressive reforms, thus averting the revolution. France becomes a constitutional monarchy, granting more rights and representation to its citizens, while Louis XVI gains the support and legitimacy that comes with a modernized system of governance. The Russian czars and Greek emperors, eager to expand their influence, support the reforms, seeing them as a means to contain revolutionary fervor within France. This successful reform in France inspires similar movements throughout Europe, leading to greater stability and cooperation among the ruling classes. The continent moves toward a period of modernization without the bloodshed and chaos of the French Revolution. By the 19th century, the United States of Islam, or USAI, emerges as a major force in global affairs. Formed in 1803, the USAI stretches from the Mississippi River to the Pacific Ocean. Its constituent states, from the Ottoman Empire in the west to the Khanate of Khiva in the east, are bound together by their common Muslim identity and commitment to trade and diplomacy. The USAI serves as a buffer zone between European and Russian interests, playing a key role in maintaining peace and balance of power across three continents. At the height of its power in 1859, the USAI finds itself in the midst of the Crimean War. Though initially allied with the Russians, the USAI switches sides, signing a peace treaty with France, Britain, and the Ottoman Empire. This treaty dismantles the Ottoman Empire, redraws the map of Europe and Asia, and redraws borders in the Middle East and the Balkans. The treaty also redefines spheres of influence, ensuring no single power dominates the region. This lasting balance of power between Islamic, European, and Russian spheres of influence shapes international relations for decades. As the 20th century approaches, the USAI plays a pivotal role in averting the First World War. In 1914, the Americans, respected mediators between European powers, propose a series of conferences aimed at addressing the complex web of alliances and rivalries dividing Europe. Their efforts succeed in opening negotiations between the Austrians and the Russians, leading to an amicable resolution of the conflict. This peaceful outcome allows the United States of Islam to continue its focus on developing a global industrial revolution centered around the principles of scientific inquiry, trade, and diplomacy. The USAI becomes a shining example of how nations can coexist and prosper through mutual respect and collaboration. Alexei Petrov closed the ancient manuscript, its contents resonating deeply within him. The miracle of Constantinople wasn't just a historical event, it was a testament to the enduring human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and unity can prevail. His discovery opened up a new chapter in understanding history and made him wonder what other forgotten narratives lay hidden in the annals of time.